So let's talk about that scratching in the walls the other day.
Oh! The scratching that plagues my existence.
The scratching that plagues your existence.
It's this whole house. It's 35 years old now, I believe, which isn't that old in
The grand scheme
of things. However,
you mentioned this, and I've been thinking about this ever since.
Yeah, I still don't know if it's. I don't know what part of it's true.
But let's start here. You mentioned that it was a prison, was it?
See, I don't know. I think it might. That's in my head for some reason, and I don't think I can figure out what to Google to figure out whether that's true. I'd have to ask my mother, but
finding information about like Kitchener is very hard, especially if it's like unorthodox information.
Well, just, like, there's a lot of information about. I live in a cooperative housing.
Oh, yeah, technically we're in Waterloo.
We are in Waterloo.
Oh, okay.
We are in Waterloo. And there's a lot of information about the co-op, and like especially we just paid off our mortgage. It's pretty great. But there was this whole like walkout party essentially of I don't know what it was called walkout.
Gravenhurst Beaver Creek Correctional Institute.
That might be it.
But this was written
recent.
In
Okay, no, definitely not them.
But it might give information about. I'm just gonna read this. You.
So, the co-op, like, there's a lot of information, especially recently, about like the inception of the co-op and how it was founded and how it was built and everything that went into it, and the documentation of over the years of everything that's been done here, especially like you look at some of the photos from when it was first made and it looks nothing like it does now in terms of like greenery. Especially we've built a lot of trees and a lot of nature and stuff, and it's really great. But I'm pretty sure that it was built on some sort of correctional facility, maybe not a prison. I don't think it was a prison itself, but it was, I think, a correctional sort of facility.
Yeah, because this is in Gravenhurst.
That's probably not it then.
That's the only thing that comes up.
So that's the thing, is my mom knows, so if she comes home in the middle of this, I'll ask her.
Hell yeah, special guest.
But, yeah, so I'm thinking every time I hear some weird noises, I think it's probably something to do with that, or just me, because I feel like I attract things and I don't realize I attract things all the time.
I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah.
At least, like, nothing malicious yet.
As far as I can tell, other than that one time that I told you about with my friend Noah, when we got that weird...
Why did you do that noise at that exact moment, baby?
Sorry, that was my dog.
Lena, why'd you do that?
She wants attention.
You made me jump at the worst moment.
But it's not that, yeah, essentially this place isn't that old in the grand scheme of things. However, it is quite old, and there's a lot of noises, and a lot of them be attributed to house settling noises, but there's a lot of them. So if people who don't live here notice it a lot more than I do, for sure. Like even there's a spot in the kitchen where you step and it makes this loud noise.
Oh yeah, I love that stop.
Yeah.
I love that stop because if you step it, the entire house seems to shift a little bit.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
But I'm just used to it. Like that's just my life. It's always been like I've lived in this unit, been here in the co-op my whole life. Lived in this unit since I was probably 8. And I'm 24, so that's what, math, 16 years?
Yeah.
More than half my life.
It's wild.
That's 2/3 of my life. Math. Fractions.
I hate math. What is syllabus?
Oh. I love redacted.
I would die for redacted.
Yes. But yeah, so the scratching in my wall.
Yes. So that's either an animal.
Yes, there's regular scratching that you can hear within my walls in different parts of the house. Because when we heard it was when you and Chris were over. We were in the living room.
Yes.
It also happens when I'm in my room, which is on the opposite side of the house. It's most likely animals burrowing inside the walls.
Does it usually happen like just in the winter, or does it like happen like year round?
It happens year round.
Okay. So, yeah, could be animal.
Yes, but it always still freaks me out a little bit every time I hear it because I'm like,
yeah,
could be ghosts.
Could be. Could be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything could be ghosts.
Everything could be ghosts.
We could just all be dead and not know it.
I'm not in the place to have another existential crisis right now.
It's okay. The same security guard who banned me from telling puns at work has also said that I'm too depressing to talk to.
Oh.
But I'm like, this is just my delicate gothic sensibilities. I'm like, the idea... What was it we were talking about? We were talking about zombie movies, which I don't really like zombie movies. But there's a few that I really enjoy. I really enjoyed the first Zombieland. I haven't seen the second one yet. I'm working on it. But I enjoyed it because it was like a lot of it was like just learning to like live in the moment and appreciate the little things that as you got them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's so good. He's like, but there wasn't a resolution at the end. I'm like, the resolution at the end was that you learn to live a day at a time. And he's like, that's so depressing. I'm like, that really isn't.
That's really the most uplifting thing that one can have because that's all we have.
Exactly.
That's all we have.
We have the moment. We're not. If you think about it too much, you're not going to have really much more than the moment. So just learn to appreciate and live and love the moments. Sorry.
No, but that's like my whole life. I get it.
Yeah, like same. Hi, welcome to Liminal Spaces. This is your captain speaking, Nick.
And I'm the Bermuda Triangle's mistress, Adele.
Bermuda Triangle's mistress?
Yeah, I am the Bermuda Triangle's mistress.
This is the Bermuda Triangle's wife.
Because you know the mistress really gets it.
That's true. The
Yeah.
wife is just for political purposes.
Yeah.
But they have an understanding, and the wife has a mistress too.
It's also me.
You can just say that you're like in a polycule. It's fine.
Not politically, it's not.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
I am.
Oh shit!
I'm the Bermuda Triangle's and its wife's. Their
Lover, but
wives.
separate.
Their wives. I am both of their. I am in a polyamorous relationship with the Bermuda Triangle and their wife, but the treaties won't have it. The treaties won't have it.
So you can only be acknowledged as their mistress, but separate.
Yeah, I'm separately both their mistresses.
Holy shit! I'm invested in this.
Write it down. It's my new novel.
TM
idea.
TM. Yeah, so welcome to Liminal Spaces. I think we said that already, but honestly, I cannot remember anymore.
This whole episode is a bit of a...
This is fine.
We recorded both our first episodes on the same day and then took a bit of a break.
A long break.
And
It's been a month.
no, it's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. Yeah. Where it just feels like a long time because time doesn't exist.
This month so far has felt like an hour.
Yeah.
But last month felt like 3 months.
Time.
Time does not exist.
Time.
Not to like trigger another existential crisis in y'all.
I'm just constantly being existential crisis in the last like 3 months. It's just been my life as a constant existential crisis.
Same.
Not to like on top of trying to be back in school. I've only got like 2 weeks left of school. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No. What?
Because exams. Yeah. How fucked and that's weird.
That's not good.
Very weird.
That's not great.
Anyways,
You want to hear about my last exam?
your last exam.
Last time I was in school 5 years ago in university. Shit, it has been 5 years.
Mhm.
I like one of my exams. It was the Christmas exam. I went to the exam. I was hungover.
Mhm.
I had a fever.
Mhm.
I had a cold sore
Mm-hmm.
and an eye infection.
This is just first you're wrapped in a nice little bow.
Right in 1 week too. And what else was it? And I had dislocated my knee earlier that day.
That day?
I mean, it might have been the day before that.
Jesus.
it was around the time where I was still very in the high area of like recovering from that. That might have also been around the same time I dislocated my pinky, but that would have been a couple weeks before that.
So you had an exam in that state?
Yes.
Jesus.
I passed.
That's all that matters.
I passed, but my professor wrote like a note. He's like, "Thank you for putting those jokes in the exam, but please don't do that again." Because I wrote like I did write some like jokes in the essay part and everything because I'm very clever.
Yeah.
And it was like they're relevant, but he's also like, maybe not do this again. It was good.
Good
Don't
for
do that
first
again.
year, not for upper year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay. I didn't make it past my second year.
It's okay.
Anxiety.
Yeah, that's a mood. I get it.
Yeah, you get
I
it.
dropped out of school for 3 years before I went back.
Yep. So here we are. Anyway.
Anyways, we're here to talk about things. We do have
a topic.
Topics to talk about.
I have a topic. I have done research
vaguely
in the past couple hours to this. Actually, I started doing research last night, but like a lot of this is like stuff I remember from like my childhood. I just got the facts of it. So I'm going to talk about the Flight 111 plane crash in Nova Scotia.
Who would have guessed?
I miss home. Okay, so I'm talking about the Swiss Flight 111. I think that's how I've always heard it referenced and everything. So I'll just go with the facts first about what happened, and then we'll talk about how like I interacted with this.
Sure.
Okay. So on September 2nd, 1998, the McDonnell Douglas. I'm sorry. The McDonnell Douglas MD-11, which is the type of aircraft.
Sure.
Yes, and that is the technical type of aircraft.
I believe you.
But was Swiss Air Flight 111, was flying from New York to Geneva, Switzerland.
For half a second, I thought you meant Genovia, and I was like, that's a fake place.
Is Genovia the Princess Diaries one? Okay, yeah. Genovia is a real place.
What?
Serbia. Someone like...
I always thought they made it up.
They did make it up, but like someone like basically from like context clues and everything, and like the only place that would make sense for it to like exist would be in Serbia.
Okay.
So it's a real place.
Sure.
It's not a real place, but it's a real place.
Gotcha. I understand. So not there.
Not there, no. So to Geneva in Switzerland.
Okay.
That was
not an accent.
Not an accent. Yeah. But on the flight over, the plane crashed into the Atlantic Ocean at the entrance to the St. Margaret's Bay where I grew up. Now, I moved to Nova Scotia in 1999, so like a year, like later. Half a year later, technically. But we didn't move to the area until end of 1999. Mm-hmm. So we weren't in the area when this happened. But it was like one of those things everybody knew about. Yeah. Because obviously it happened right there.
Especially like a year's not that much time for that kind of stuff.
It's a big fucking tragedy. Not to be a downer, but it's a big fucking tragedy. There were 229 people on board. They all died. Oh. 215 passengers and 14 crew. Everyone died. Nobody survived it. Jesus. Yeah, it was for a while there. It was like one of the biggest plane fatalities. Like,
sorry, I just thought of something really dark.
Do it.
It's like that's only because it's like 3 years before 9/11.
But even then, not to say 9/11 wasn't a big tragedy, but it wasn't as big a tragedy as everything else that followed. Capitalism is the biggest tragedy. Anyway.
Yeah. That tracks.
Tracks is my hot take for the day. Yeah, so basically what happened was like big electrical failure that caused an in-flight fire, and then like into the bay, down by the bay.
Where the watermelons grow?
Where the airplane crashes.
Oh.
I'm so sorry. I deal with tragedy through humor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes you kind of gotta.
Sometimes you gotta. So yeah, so
I
that...
also would like to point at the fact that you know this from your childhood, but to get the facts, you just have the Wikipedia page
I
just pulled
have.
up right in front of you right now.
Well, let's be honest, Wikipedia's going to have the facts.
The facts, F-A-X?
The F-A-X, yes. That's the thing that you send on a computer, isn't it? The facts? You have to fax the things? Fax the facts? Have you ever faxed the facts?
I haven't, but it's not a computer. You know that, right?
No? What?
It's a machine, so like...
What?
The fax machine's not in the computer.
But you use a computer.
No.
No.
It was not connected to the internet.
What?
It was not a computer. It was a machine
No.
that you had a piece of paper and you dialed in the number you wanted to, the fax machine number you wanted to send it to, and it sent it.
Wait, it's a phone?
Yeah.
No.
It was connected to the phone system. It had to be because there were specific fax numbers that you would send something to.
I don't like this.
And you put the piece of paper that you wanted to send over through the machine, and it basically copied the paper and sent it to print out at somebody else's machine.
So it cloned it.
Essentially.
It's a phone cloning machine.
Yes.
Oh, I don't like this.
For like documents and stuff.
I don't like this. I don't like this. Why? I mean,
Okay.
Okay.
We're getting too sidetracked.
That's okay. It's fine.
Fax machine.
The fax machine. The otherwise known as Wikipedia, which is the internet fax machine and not the phone fax machine, which I just learned about, which now we have to keep in.
Yeah, that's gotta stay. This might be our first, our first 2 episodes were about 25-30 minutes. I think this one might be longer. We just slowly increase our time length to a full hour. It'll still only be one story, but we're just talking too much.
Too many tangents. I love tangents. Tangents are fun.
Yeah, they're fun to listen to, so I think it's fine.
Honestly, as long as we don't get to 3-hour episodes, then I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah, no, I if we got to 3-hour episodes, I would be very impressed with us.
I mean, if we get caught talking about ghost stories, then we probably would make it. But then even then, we'd be like, let's pause.
Yeah, what we would definitely.
We would have to cut
that out.
Yes. Okay, so that's
okay.
Basically what happened.
Tragedy. Yes.
Tragedy. They all died. Yeah. Oof. Most of them were most of them were from the U.S., but a striking amount of people were from France. And I don't know why that always strikes me. That's... Yeah. A significant number of people were from France, and that unexpected me. Unexpected me?
I don't think that's the right verbiage, but maybe it was was it a connecting flight, maybe?
Might have.
To get to, back home?
Oh, yeah, because, they were going from New York to Geneva to Switzerland, right? And Switzerland's not that far from France in the grand scheme of things.
And I know, when I went to France, we actually went to Germany and then back to France for a connecting flight. So that
tracks. I mean,
just for we didn't stay in it. It was the connecting flight from Germany to France. So
oh, okay.
That might have been that might have been that.
Maybe. To be fair though, I've only ever taken one flight that went directly to a place that I needed to get to. So why are flights are like this? So yeah, that's what happened. Mm-hmm. Basically after that, a lot of the fishermen in the bay are actually a lot of the people who helped out in the search and rescue and recovery.
Okay, I was thinking that I thought you were gonna go into where they were fishing and.
Well, okay, so here's the thing.
Getting some interesting catches of the day.
So here's the thing. As children, learning about this story, we also had a lot of stories that we told each other that, in hindsight, are not even close to factual.
Yeah. Kids be like.
And there's this one story, which I will get to in a moment, that I've heard about other at-sea tragedies. I've heard someone tell this exact same story, but under the context of the Titanic. Because here's another fun fact about Nova Scotia. The Titanic victims were buried in a Halifax graveyard.
I guess that probably would have been closest.
Well, the unclaimed ones. But a lot of the things and people from the Titanic washed up on the shores of Nova Scotia.
Yeah, that tracks.
So, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, So, so the fishermen actually helped it a lot. And one of the articles I actually found was from a fisherman I know or I knew from my childhood. Like, obviously don't talk to him anymore. But, so, there's these, like, they're pillars of the community that I grew up in. Bob and Peggy.
Okay.
Which is funny because on the other side of the St. Margaret's Bay where I grew up is Peggy's Cove.
Oh.
So it was like, it's Peggy's Cove, you know? It was like a fun thing that we were like, you know? And I'm pretty sure, like, Bob did something romantic about that once, but anyway, like...
Yeah, you would have to.
Obviously, you would have to. But, like, I remember Bob especially because he took me and a couple of the other kids across the bay on his fishing boat once. It was a really fun trip. And when we were, like, in the middle of the bay, he would, like, let us... I don't know if I should put this on the internet. He would let us drive to, like, get the feel of it, like, with him supervising. Yeah. But he would,
I don't think they can arrest you for that.
I don't know. And it was, like, 15 years ago. I'm more worried about Bob.
That's what I mean. I don't think they can arrest Bob.
He's in his 70s and he's a really nice man.
And, like, there's no proof other than you verbalizing it.
This is true.
There's no pictures. There's no...
Who's gonna believe me?
And even then, you could be plausible deniability. Other kids that he could have taken could say, like, no.
Exactly.
It never happened.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine.
Shh. What are you talking about? I don't even know this person. They probably wouldn't even know me.
It's been 87 years.
It's been 87 years, and I have changed my name several times. None of them would recognize me now. Actually, a lot of them probably wouldn't. Although, to be fair, I probably wouldn't recognize them either. Don't do faces very well.
That's fair. See, I'm good with faces, but it was surprising. Even side note, on the thing of people from
side note number 7.
Yeah, no kidding. The one time I was there's this arcade bar, with like old arcade games down by King and U.
Yeah, I've been by it.
Yeah, I went there with Kareth and Taylor once. And when I was there, somebody that I knew from middle school recognized me.
Ugh.
It was fine, like, it was a little weird, but it was fine. But it was more just, I thought I'd changed my appearance so much. This was back before, like, I've kind of grown my hair out a little bit. I still got an undercut, but this was back when I had more just, like, the top bun, more kind of like yours, but longer.
Yeah. Before you went swingy Todd.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, I thought I dressed entirely different. I had my glasses on. Like,
yeah, but some people are really, really good with faces.
This person must have been, because, like, she recognized me, and I was like, wait, how did you even pick... It's a dark place, and there's lots of sound, and, like, just in the crowd, she managed to see me. I was like... Okay, sure. So, like, people might recognize. There's always a chance that somebody would. Anyways.
Don't like that.
I know, me neither. I always, living in my hometown sometimes, especially when I was working at Starbucks, and people that I, recognized from high school or, like, elementary school that I knew, but would never be able to say, like, hey, we went to school together, because it was just, like, I knew their face and I knew their name, but nothing else about them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they also recognize me. And I'm just like, just don't say anything, it's fine, just pretend like it doesn't exist.
Exactly. Like, sometimes you just gotta. The only time I've ever been recognized, since I left my hometown, that I remember, I might have blocked out everything else that ever happened. I've seen a few people around. This is the thing. When
here?
I was not here. Thank God, not here.
Damn.
No, I don't handle the past very well.
Yeah.
It's the trauma. But sorry, that was me throwing things around.
Destroying my house.
Of course. I always do. No, but like I got recognized by a guy from high school who I hated, and I didn't think I made it unknown that I had hated him.
But maybe he was like, oh, it was high school, it was whatever.
Yeah, but he was also, and also he was like the religious fanatic at school. Yeah, he ended up on the news for bullshit, because he was just a grade A jackass. And I was on my way home from work one day, and he was like, is that you? And I'm just like,
no.
Fuck. And then he was like friendly, and he's like, and then chatting a little bit, and I'm like, listen, I gotta catch my bus home. And he was like, okay, well, maybe I'll see you around. I'm like, yeah, sure, and never saw him again, thank God. Ooh, no. Anyway,
Anyways,
different tragedy altogether.
Yeah, what were we talking
No, it was so. I was telling you about Bob and Peggy. That's how this
Right,
got.
yes, Bob and Peggy.
But yeah, Bob's great. Peggy's really nice. Though I like, since I left, I don't know if they're still around.
Mm.
Like, I hope they do. I hope they are. They were really nice people. But yeah.
Bah.
No, okay, so the stories,
yes,
yeah.
What is the story? What is your point that you would wish to make with this?
The story, so the thing is, like, we used to, like, hear, like, these, like, kind of grisly stories about the thing, and also, we would, like, find shrapnel on the beach, because, like, we lived 5 minutes away from a beach, and we went there, like, all the time, season round,
Yeah.
and, of course, we would, like, when we weren't swimming, because it was too cold, we were, like, exploring the rocks and everything. One day, my dad found this, hunk of melted metal wrapped around several rocks. It was, like, about the size of a grape. How big is a grape? Like a cantaloupe? Is that a cantaloupe?
That looks kind of cantaloupe.
Okay, so it's about the size of a cantaloupe. I don't know. I don't like melons.
Neither.
Good. Okay. And we're in good company.
Yeah.
But it was about that size, and he had it for the longest time.
You just kept it?
Yeah, he just kept it. Which was technically illegal, but...
Yeah. It's fine.
It's fine. He found it, like... probably like 2003-ish. So it's been like it had been like years since it, but everyone knew that came from like the Swiss flight, right?
Yeah.
And so but like he kept it. I think it's still at his house somewhere. I have to ask my stepmom about that. But so like that was technically my first introduction to like this, because my dad found this and he was like, oh, this is really cool. He showed my mom and they were talking about this, and I'm like, well, what are you guys talking about? Like, what is this thing? So they like sat me down and told me what happened. It was this big tragedy. But it was like, so I was talking with my friends about it at the time, and they had all like grown up in this area, so they like had been around when this happened.
Yeah.
And so like they were like, oh yeah, so like this happened and this happened. And one of the stories that everyone kind of like circulated around, and this is the story I was telling you earlier, like that I've heard from about multiple different tragedies.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure never actually happened anywhere.
Sure.
So it was a story about like this fisherman goes out on just like out fishing, and it's like after the tragedy enough that like not everything is everywhere, and he finds the body of an infant child, and he's like not quite all right in the head. He doesn't quite recognize that it's a dead child.
Oh, and he takes it home?
He takes it home and he cares for it.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Yeah, so he takes it home and he cares for it, and just keeps taking care of it until it basically rots away.
Oh.
That's the story that we all told each other. It was like, yeah, so you hear about the old fisherman and everything? Nobody ever gave this guy a name either. Which
that's like a telltale sign that it's a
telltale sign
of
is like
legend.
Like an urban legend. Like this is an urban legend that everyone I know attributed to this flight. But then I moved around, and in different areas, there was like different tragedy, or different that the same story came up with. Like there had been like obviously there's a lot of shipwrecks
in that area,
not just in that area, but like all the coast. Every coast has like a different shipwreck, basically.
Yeah.
Different areas of the coast, I should say. And I've heard that story connected to every single shipwreck, even like the ancient ones, the really really old ones too. Like, and I'm just like at that point I was like, oh, this is an urban legend, but like to me it's always still connected to this place.
Yeah.
Because obviously
that's your personal connection to it.
Exactly, but it's also like, yeah, like they also have like the memorials up near Peggy's Cove, and one of the things my mom liked to do was we would, whenever we had like relatives visiting, we would like take them up to Peggy's Cove, and usually along the lines we'd all stop at the Swiss flight memorials, and like just kind of like sit and reflect and take photos, because honestly it's on the top of these cliffs overlooking the bay for obvious purposes, because I think there's like a photograph at one point where from one of the spots of the memorial, you just see the bay, and then like the entrance of the bay, and then the other side of the of the bay. Yes, that's the right word. But like there's an old grainy photo you can find, or at least I found. I don't know if it's just like a thing people have around, where the plane is in the water in the bay, and you can still see the other side of the bay. So like if you're standing at this spot, you can place exactly where the photographer was when they took the photo.
Spooky.
It's pretty spooky. But it's like honestly, it's a beautiful area. So we used to go there a lot.
We just need to go there, and you need to just take me on not only the ghost tour, but like tour all of these places that you're talking about. So your shipwreck and the story.
Oh well, it was a plane crash.
That's what I meant. It was in the sea.
I will talk about other shipwrecks eventually. Mm-hmm. Like I definitely want to talk about the young teaser for sure. Mm-hmm. You don't know what the young teaser is?
I don't know a lot of
teaser trailer.
Were you essentially making the point of this urban legend?
Yeah, it was that was the point I was getting to. It's like this is the urban legend, and there are like other. Like, obviously, there's other ghost stories. Like, we've seen people, like, wandering on the beach who shouldn't have been there. And this is, like, a small-ass beach. Technically, a private beach, but it's, like, everyone in town goes there. Mm-hmm. There's also one that's about 10 minutes down the road. That would be the Fox Point Beach. And then, you know, you just follow up the shore road, and you get, like literally it's called Shore Road, and you get like all these like small ass little grainy beaches, whatever, and these are all like on the bay, right? But like you go around the bay and you just keep following that road, and you get so many little beaches, and I have stories. Not to get on another tangent, I got stories about all those beaches.
We're gonna basically have 3 episodes from them. We're gonna just have a tangent episode.
Yeah, like this could just be our tangent episode.
That's true. We'll see. So I do want to give time to your story.
No, yeah. Look, so the beach ghosts. There's so many beach ghosts. Like I swear, not every beach. Most beaches have a ghost. Beach. Sorry, I had to do that. So like I've seen people wandering on the beach, and I don't know if this is just my own weirdness. So. Not to get on another tangent, this is relevant to what I'm about to talk about. When I went to a fortune teller at the Renaissance Fair... This year, mm-hmm. She told me to stop hiding in, like, a bunch of different ways. In a trans way, in a queer way, in a weird psychic way. So I've been trying to, like, talk about the things I see as part of this.
Yes, please.
Because I never really talked about the shit I've seen.
You've come to the right place.
Yeah. So, yes. There used to be a young woman that would wander on the beach that I grew up at. I think I told my mom this once, and she was like, I've never seen anyone, and I never told anyone else. But yeah, she used to wander there. Not to be, like, stereotypical, but, like, long white dress, wet. Like, she had just come out of the water. Mm-hmm. And she was just wandering the beach and looking out over the bay. And, not to say, like, she came from the flight, but she might have. She could have just, you know, like, people die at sea all the time. Yeah. Like, one of my friends, she's from a family of fishermen. Long history of people drowning at sea. So, you know, it happens. And so she could be one of those, but, like, she came out of the water. She was very, like, she was dripping wet and in a white dress. And I'm just like, yeah, she died it there. But, you know. And then there's, you go down to the Fox Point Beach. That's also the beach that I saw the shark at, where my dad was like, hey, how about you get out of the water now and we'll go home. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then on our drive home, my dad was like, yeah, there's a shark in the water behind you. And I'm like, oh, cool. Thanks for getting me out, I guess. I was...
Like a real shark?
Yeah, like a real shark. It was small. It wasn't like one of those, like, huge ass... But it was like...
But you were like, get out of the water.
My dad was like... My dad...
Why wouldn't he just be like, I guess he wouldn't want to freak you out, but
my dad was the coolest cucumber. I only ever saw him freak out once.
Uh-huh.
And that was when he was teaching me to drive. And it was, yeah. But that was it. That was the only time I ever saw him freak out. So he was like, cool as cucumber. Literally was like, yeah, how about you come out of the water now? I think it's time for us to go home.
Oh my god.
And I was like, okay. Because it was like, it was around the time where we would have been like, let's go home anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Jesus.
And then.
Oh no.
But no, like there was a diving team that used to go there a lot. And I never went to that beach a lot because it was like a lot more public, but it was also a lot more rocky. And it was like farther down the road. It was easier just to go down to the beach that was close to us.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, saw people like. So like, if we were like driving late at night, this is mostly like in high school. If we were driving late at night and we were driving by this beach, I was never the driver, so I was always looking out the windows, like watching everything as the passenger privilege.
Yes.
And then you know, there'd be people standing on the beach there too.
Just chilling?
Just chilling. They're standing at the water's edge kind of deal, right? Oof. But, like, you know, nobody else would see them. So it'd be like, okay. Okay.
Spicy.
And then there's another beach.
There's just so many.
There's literally so many beaches. There's Queensland Beach, which I never went to. I only went there once. Well, maybe twice with a couple of friends. I never liked that beach. Queensland Beach is the kind of beach where everyone goes. It's super crowded. There's parking, you know? Like, there's parking.
Oh, like a parking lot?
Yeah, for this beach. But this is also the beach that gets destroyed every year because of whatever hurricane.
Oh.
Any kind of storm that rolls in, Queensland Beach gets destroyed.
R.I.P. Queensland.
R.I.P. Queensland Beach. It's also the beach that you always find a condom on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I never went there that much.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you go down the road, there's like a walled off beach a little bit.
Okay.
Technically more of a private beach, but that's also the beach where like anytime there's a dead whale in the bay, that always washes up on that beach specifically.
Gotcha.
So like I saw a lot of beached whales on that one. And then of course like there's just like, you know, those are like the only ones that I ever like frequented, and even the last two like I never really went to. We always just drove by them. So, well, you know, a lot of, you know, sometimes you just see people hanging around and you just get that weird feeling like, I don't know about this person. Like I don't know if that person is actually there or not. You know, like there's nothing. They look completely normal. There's nothing to like really indicate that like maybe they're not quite there, and so you don't really mention it to anyone, but you're probably sure that if you did mention it to someone, they'd be like, what person? So
if you see anyone with me around, please mention it.
Okay.
Because my perception, as you saw the other day, is really bad. So like if I'm not looking for something, I won't see it. I don't know if I just like, I can't tell if I don't have the natural inclination, because when I do focus, it's very easy.
Oh yeah.
But if I'm like not looking for it, I won't see it.
Another parallel, you wear glasses and I don't.
Yes.
You need to focus. You don't naturally.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the parallel I'm making.
I understand. I like it. They're not very strong glasses, but yes, essentially. Which is funny too, because I am a very visual person. Like I have always been like a visual artist. I like love color, love just aesthetically pleasing things, but unless I'm looking for something, I don't perceive it.
That's valid.
My perception is very narrow for some reason in terms of just passive perception. That's the thing. My passive perception is very narrow. It's very low.
Okay, so your passive perception is probably like 9.
I would even put it at 8.
Okay, your passive perception is 8, but your
my actual perception is like a 16.
16. No, so your actual perception is probably like a +4.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then but your base is like an 8.
Yeah, my base is, yeah. Yep.
Whereas my passive perception is probably like a 16.
Yeah.
But like my actual perception is a -1.
We're switched. We're switched. We balance each other out very, very well. Yeah.
I love explaining the world in D&D terms.
But it makes sense.
It does. It really does. Because, like, honestly, there's a lot that you can't explain otherwise about, like, human behavior.
Yeah.
But, like, if you look at someone and you go, high int, low wisdom, suddenly everything makes sense.
Yeah, because it's just very simple terms to explain your point.
Exactly. And it just gets the point across.
Yeah.
Okay. This is more of a... Okay, so when I was growing up, I used to bike around a lot. I can pinpoint the exact moment when I stopped biking around was when my best friend who used to live next door to me moved to another part of the... Not neighborhood, but like she moved into town, whereas we were outside of town.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't have anyone to bike with me anymore. And also, that was the exact same moment I also discovered the internet. So I was like, I don't want to go outside anymore. I don't have my friend anymore, and there's interesting things on the internet.
Yeah.
So, but that's when I stopped. But before then, and for a little while afterwards too, because my mom would be like, do you want to go for a bike ride? I'd be like, yeah, let's go for a bike ride. We would bike down the shore road to the beach, and if we felt like it, we'd drive down to the wharf. And no matter what time of day, this is just a Nova Scotia thing. This isn't even the ghost story part. No matter what time of day, there's always people fishing off the wharf.
Always.
Always. There's always someone fishing off the wharf.
East Coast be like.
East Coast be like. Especially, like, it's like a small wharf, too. And then, of course, but, like, the thing is, on the way to the wharf, we'd pass by, like, 3 churches. This is a 15-minute long walk, like 15-minute long bike, right?
Right.
We'd pass 3 churches, and one of them was more in the woods.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't being used as a church anymore, but there was still the graveyard next to it, and the graveyard was still being well kept.
Right.
Now, I was also like, you know, I'm goth. I'm embracing my inner goth punk, right?
Yeah.
But I used to be really, really, like, emo. So I would, like, go off on my own.
Yeah.
And on one of my own bike rides by myself, I was biking past this church.
Oh, boy.
And all the lights were on. Oh, and all the lights were on.
Okay.
All the lights were on in this church. I'd never seen the lights on in this place.
Did you investigate?
I kind of investigated. I stopped in front of the church, and the door opens.
Who was standing there? Anyone?
See, that's where it gets fuzzy.
Oh, no.
See, that's the scary part of this. That's where it gets fuzzy.
Oh, no.
I do know that I did eventually get onto my back onto my bike, because I dismounted. I was standing next to my bike, and that's when the door opened. And, like, I can't recall if there was someone in the door or not, or if it was just light.
Mm-hmm.
I know... I think I walked up to the door, but I know I didn't go inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got back on my bike, finished the ride, and then took the turn onto the highway, onto, like, the main road, to ride back instead of taking the way back. Yep,
good.
So, yeah, that...
That sounds like what you hear when people go into trances, when, like, supernatural entities, like, take over their will and, like, try to like...
That was also the year,
get them to do what they want.
One of my friends from school gave me my pentagram for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
She bought me that year for my birthday, and I've been wearing it ever since, and haven't had any problems like that.
What is a protection thing?
It's yeah, exactly. It's protective symbols for my beliefs. So yeah, that was there you go. Spooky shit on the South Shore.
See, this is what I mean. I want shit like that to... I mean, I would be absolutely fucking terrified if it were to actually happen to me, but, like...
Like, that's shit I've never...
I would like something to happen like that to me.
Like, that's shit
also...
I've never told... I've never even told my mom that story.
Oh, my God,
oh shit, I'm so sorry, Mom. She listens to this show. You heard it here first, Mom. Yeah.
You're alive. That's all that matters.
I'm alive. I didn't actually go into the church. It's not the white one. This is particularly for my mom. It's not the white one that like is on the corner there, and it's not the one that's like just past past the ranch and the wharf. There's like one that's right in the middle there that you can like really look over if you're not careful. And I could never look over it.
Yeah, never again.
No. Even before that, it was like
man.
it always caught my attention. Which, in hindsight, now that I'm saying it out loud, is kind of a kind of a red flag.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you know that's gonna have to be one of our stops when we go
Oh,
out
absolutely. Now here's the part that I'm really scared about. What if we go down the south? What if we go down there and it's not there? That's the part I'm really scared about.
It just doesn't exist.
It's just not there. I'm a little concerned about that if we actually
We'll
do
have to
that.
face that fear when we come to it.
We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Oh boy, howdy. Okay.
So anyways, we'll see what this turns into.
Hell yeah. 'Cause, spoiler alert, it's probably going to be 2 different podcasts.
Yeah, we'll see how this one gets chopped up. So whenever you're listening to this, whichever episode this comes after, we have a Twitter. If you'd like to follow us there, it's Liminal Space Pod. We also have an Instagram, which is Liminal Spaces Pod. And you can also listen to us on YouTube if you'd like, if that's your preferred listening method. We are YouTubers, barely.
Crossover.
And yeah, we
I'm sorry. I've derailed this again.
I'll figure it out.
We also have an email. You can email us at liminalspacespod@gmail.com. You can follow me specifically on Twitter at Arsenic N Nulace. That's N, not A-N-D.
And yeah, you can follow me on, I use Instagram more. It's at Adele Bernadette. Adele, like the singer.
Yeah,
Bernadette.
hello.
Yeah. I'm on the other side of this mic.
I'm on the other side of the liminal spaces. Sorry. That didn't make as much sense out loud.
It's close enough. Anyways, Bernadette is like pretty straight. Burn, D-E-T-T-E.
Why would you burn a debt?
Because fuck that. No. No, I don't know. Yeah, we also would like to thank Purple Planet Music for our outro and intro music.
Into the Woods by Purple Planet Music. It's really good.
Yeah.
I've been Nick.
I've been Adele.
And we'll see you next time
In the liminal spaces.
Hello, this is your captain's mouth. Nick. Sorry. You do yours.
And I'm the Luna.
You
want attention?
I'll pet her while you do the thing. Oh, whoa. This is your captain speaking.